if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And this is one of those tales. And it's about Robert Lincoln, as he's a bad omen for presidents because he was president at three presidential assassinations. I don't know where this gets started. Someone tries to sell you something, make it sound a little better for their history books. But here's the real deal. April 1865. The war in the South basically is over with the surrender of Robert E. Lee and the Army of Northern Virginia. Everybody's ecstatic. The Lincolns, not any different. They elect to go to a show. We all know that. It's a show he's seen before, but he's going to appease his wife, Mary. It's at Ford's Theater, but they need to take somebody with them. So who do they ask? They ask Robert. Well, Robert's a member of the Union Army. He's serving with General Grant on his staff. Like I said, he's been chasing Robert E. Lee through the Virginia backside, countryside, for weeks. He declines the invitation to the theater, mostly because he says, I'm tired. I've been out camping for weeks. I like to sleep between some clean sheets. Later on the following day or morning, he is awakened by, he says he doesn't remember how many people came to tell him the bad news. But he goes down to the Peterson house across the street from Ford's Theater. He walks in, sees his father lying diagonally across a bed because of his height that was originally rented by a private, and has a moment of grief. According to witnesses, he somewhat recovered and went on to consult his mother. He stayed until his father passed about 7:22 a.m. So, wasn't there for that assassination, but he was there for his father's passing. For about 15 years, the Republicans had been trying to get Robert Lincoln to run for office. And he declined because he said, all you want is my last name, and we're not going to do that. However, when James Garfield was elected, he relented and said, yeah, I'll take that position of Secretary of War. I'd like to. So on July 2nd, 1881, him and Secretary of State James Blaine are going down to the Baltimore and Potomac train station to meet the president. And Robert Lincoln's going to tell him that, I can't go to wherever it is you want it to go and such. Well, about 10 seconds away from meeting the president, two shots are heard from Charles Guiteau. It's a pistol, shot uh, Garfield in the back. Just like Edwin Stanton, the Secretary of War under Abraham Lincoln, Robert Lincoln takes charge of the situation, orders four companies of soldiers to secure the scene and get the president back to the White House safely. Everybody thinks Garfield's going to make it. 80 days later, he dies. I believe they even try to get Graham Bell to use his new device to locate the bullet in Garfield. Of course, that didn't work because it was on a spring bed that was made of metal. Robert goes to the court of St. James and is the minister to the United Kingdom for a little bit. There, his son dies and returns. He goes to in business with the Pullman Palace uh, Railroad Car Company. Upon the death of George Pullman, he becomes the president of the Pullman Car Company. He is pulling in 1901 to Buffalo to attend the Pan American Exposition, the same one that William McKinley attended. Before he gets off the train, and before the train gets to the station, he is informed that President McKinley has been shot. Now, he does go and he sees the president, and he believes, upon conversing with him, that he will recover. Theodore Roosevelt was there before him, and he agreed. He's going to be fine. However, that was not the case. McKinley died. TR became the youngest president ever. Youngest president ever. So there you go. He is really basically 10 to 15 seconds distance to one presidential assassination. There is a photograph of him with two other presidents at the dedication of his father's memorial, the Lincoln Memorial. He's standing with William Howard Taft, very large man, can't miss him, and the president at the time, Warren G. Harding. It's okay. Within a year, Warren G. Harding would be dead too. Some would say food poisoning, other people would say murder or assassination. But we'll never know that one either because, well, Robert died at the age of 83 and Florence Harding wouldn't allow an autopsy. Well, there you go. That's history. That's all in the past. Go ahead and look that up if you want to. If you like these little things, please subscribe, comment, give me a hint, something you like. I'll see you next time. Halloween. So, anyway, the name of this next story is called Soap and Satan. Yeah, stop me if you've heard it. So, anyway, this CEO of a large company, Proctor and Gamble, goes on a talk show. It's either, I can't remember which it was, but he tells the host during the questioning that he was an active member of the Church of Satan. And that, through his connections and, relatively all the sales of the company, the majority of profits from Procter and Gamble are going to the Church of Satan and its mission. This is in the 1990s. Can you believe this? Yeah. So anyway, the host was flabbergasted. He said, What? Why would you even say this on a television show? Aren't you afraid of repercussions from the the people that use your products? Because Procter and Gamble, they do a lot, everything from like candy to deodorant, cereals, all kinds of stuff, household cleaning stuff. And he says, there aren't enough Christians in the United States to do anything about it. So he felt comfortable making that statement. So I can't remember. So was it Phil Donahue or Sally Jesse Raphael? Merv Griffin? He was on daytime. No, wait a minute. I think it was 60 Minutes. The answer is none of those shows aired any remarks like this. None of those shows did anything like that in the 80s or 90s. In fact, we don't know who is responsible for starting that rumor. So in the mid 1980s, the company, because of all the hoo ha, agreed to get rid of its logo, the one with the man in the moon and the 13 stars around it, because people were saying it's satanic. So they said, we retired the logo that was more than 100 years old, man in the moon, and the 13 stars that, by the way, represented the original 13 colonies. We removed it and started to use just the P and G because of all the devil haters. But anyway, it was to appease the company. And at this point, they received almost, Procter and Gamble received almost 200 and some odd thousand phone calls, letters, all of them complaining. And they just denied this story forever. And they, they tried to dismiss it. It wouldn't go away. People kept pestering them about their relationship with the Church of Satan and its missionaries. They even try to get in touch with. I mean, Billy Graham, the Reverend Billy Graham from North Carolina, and Jerry Farwell, and hang on, there was a Cardinal Joe Benedine. Sorry, Monsignor or Cardinal Joseph Benedine of Chicago. They all came out and said, "This is a fabricated piece of crap. The devil's really at work at this because you people are idiots." Well, most of it was coming from the Christian nation. Um, kind of silly, huh? Had they only just read Second Corinthians or something like that about gossip and all, but yeah, that's not for me to discuss because this is a history channel. So even with that, the reverends they came out and they said this rumor was just that, just a rumor, and it's all crap. And the lies kept coming in, the rumors kept going, and so Procter and Gamble had no choice. They started suing people for spreading them, the ones that they could identify. There was a weatherman in Georgia. He was sued. Well, who else? There was a newsletter in Minnesota that drifted around back and forth between nursing homes. They found out who wrote that and sued them. Basically, they didn't recover any money there. They just got an apology for the slander. So they followed up, and you can do this. You can search it yourself. In 1985, in April, a spokesperson for Phil Donahue, Penny, Penny, somebody, she said, "No, we never had a Procter and Gamble executive on the show that time frame." Mr. Abbott of Merv Griffin show basically said the same thing. We never had these guys on, so they didn't make that statement here. And Sally Jesse Raphael basically said, "I've never had them on the show," so they didn't say that. 60 Minutes was asked about it, but they edited their answer. But you got to ask yourself, who starts these rumors and why? There's always a reason. Well, they follow the money, just like Deep Throat said. So Procter Gamble, with their private detectives, were able to trace the majority of these rumors. In 2007, they brought a civil suit against four general distributors. I'll reserve the name, but it makes sense. They received $19.25 million in damages from four distributors of the Amway Corporation. For y'all who don't know who Amway is, they sell basically the same things as Procter and Gamble vitamins, health aids, but for a whole lot more because you got to be part of a subscription. It's kind of funny. Don't get caught in Amway. And they used a voicemail system, let their customer know how bad these people were, that they were sponsoring the Church of Satan. Well, that's history. This is kind of a fun part. It's all in the past. See you tomorrow when we talk about today, or maybe something else.